Hello everyone and welcome back to Steins Gate Zero. I'm G, and we are at the point of divergence. Well, not entirely divergence. Basically, there's a whole weird other set of circumstances that we have to go down to unlock the true ending, and then we have to go back along the tree that we were on before to go to the true ending. Shit's weird, man. But anyways, we are back. It is December 15th. We are turning off the phone instead of calling Kurisu back when Amadeus back when she's all mailed because we hung up on her. So we are turning off the phone. The phone went silent. I slowly stood up. If Dukuko saw me like this, he'd worry. I should get out of here. I was staggering a little, but I could walk. I felt very thirsty. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. I wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. I looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache too. If I went to Dr. Leskinen like this, I'm sure I'd worry him. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try and make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved. I knew it! It's Ocarine! Hi there. Oh, you're Mayuri's friends. They're Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I think the cosplay names were Kaede and Fubuki. I didn't know their real names. Which was Kaede and which was Fubuki again? Are you okay? You don't look so good. I'm fine. If I made them worry here and they talked to Mayuri, it would cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. I shouldn't have come back to Akihabara anyway. I'd run into people I knew just walking through town. I should have gone towards Kanda when I left the shrine. You always look like you're hurting somehow, Ocarine. Do I? You do. Fubuki. And when Mayushi looks at you, she looks like she's in pain too. And when I see her looking at you, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Wait, what am I saying? This Fubuki girl must really care about Mayuri. I felt a little better after hearing that. Who's the girl you like? The girl I like? An image of Kurisu appeared in the corner of my eye again. The feeling in my hands when I took her life came back. No, calm down. Ocarine? I'm sorry, that was rude to ask. 1.064750. The sky was red-black, dotted with columns of thick black smoke. There was so much rubble I couldn't find a place to stand. Screams, gunshots, and the stench. Everyone in this world knew what that smell was. It was the smell of burning. So, as far as I can tell, this seems to be exactly the same. Yeah. I think this is exactly the same as the other divergent point. So, what I will do is I will cut this, and I will skip to the point where this diverges from the story as we last experienced it. So, see you then. Okay, so I was wrong. This is actually different. So, all that last stuff, sorry about that. That was also there. Maybe I'll add that in afterwards. And at last people understood. This wasn't the afterlife. This was the real world. Hell. Yes, that's what this was. This was hell. A stray sheep. Oh wow, they really just jump right into it. Ugh. The world twisted and warped. I felt horribly dizzy. Sometimes my vision would blur for no reason. But this was nothing like that. It was like my mind itself was being wrung apart. Like the world itself was changing. Déjà vu. I knew this feeling. This was... At last, the color came back to my vision. All the shouts of the pedestrians and the noise of the passing cars came flooding in at once. Ocarina, are you okay? You're sweating bullets. Do you not feel well? Oh, no. Fubuki and Kaede. The two of them were still in front of me. They looked worried. I just gotten dizzy for a moment. I'm fine, really. Thanks for asking. Okay, we'll be going. I'm looking forward to the party. They said their goodbyes and walked toward the station. I watched them go, only halfway paying attention. What was that? None of the passers-by noticed me standing there. They were all experiencing time sequentially as one connected moment after another. But I knew what I just saw. That's right. I was the one person who understood. That feeling was reading Steiner. Which meant the world line had changed? I shook my head and tried to get the idea out of my mind. It was impossible. The world line could only change if someone had altered the past. I'd only ever seen world line changes after I'd sent D-mails with the phone wave names that would change. I destroyed the phone wave, so that could never happen again. I'd sacrificed Kurisu for it. But then who did this? And how? What if someone had made a device identical to the phone wave? Mayuri. I need to see if Mayuri is safe. I'll call her right now. Call Mayuri. Place call. I picked her name off the contacts list on my phone and dialed. I could hear the call sound in my ear. But there was no sign of her picking up. 7 seconds. 8. 9. Each second made the fear worse. I felt cold sweat drip down my back. 12 seconds. 13 seconds. 14 seconds. I kept calling and praying anyway. Eventually, after a minute of ringing, the electronic sound suddenly cut off. It's Mayushi! Mayuri! Is that you, Mayuri? It's really you, right? Okay, what's wrong? The relaxed, easygoing voice I heard most definitely belonged to Mayuri. I was so worried I kept calling and you didn't pick up. Oh, sorry, my phone was in my bag. Not at all. Nothing had happened at all. You need something? No, don't worry about it. I was just feeling nervous. Nervous? Where are you now? Are you with someone? I'm going to work. Until when? About 8 p.m. I see. Got it. Will you come to see me, Ocarine? No, I'm busy today. I can't. I'm going to the lab after I get off work. Okay. If I can go, we'll meet up there and I'll walk you home. Really? That's fair. Bye. Work hard, okay? I hung up. Mayuri was safe, which meant that the world line change probably had nothing to do with her. Not that I could let my guard down. Or maybe that was just a daydream and there was no world line change at all. It seemed awfully realistic for that to be the case, though. Just to be safe, I turned on my phone again. The icon was still there, the same place it had been the last several times I'd used it. I felt a little hesitation, especially after what happened. Could I really contact her after that? I decided that it was important to see what was going on first, so I tapped the icon. What? Did you forget to say something? Ursu's voice was the same as ever. You're not mad? Mad? Why? Because I just hung up on you, so... I already apologized for that just now. I'm not the kind of person to keep getting mad after I've forgiven someone. Just now? That's right, you called back, didn't you? Called back? I did? It was only 7 minutes and 43 seconds ago. Did you forget? I apologized? To you. You okay? Kursu was evidently telling the truth. He didn't look like he was lying, at least. What happened? Your expression's totally different than it was a moment ago. No, I'm fine. I didn't remember that. I remember turning off the phone, but I didn't remember anything about calling her, the Amadeus Kursu, back after that. The old me would have insisted that I was right and she was mistaken. But now, I wasn't sure. After all the different paths I'd experienced and all the sadness and pain I'd gone through, even 6 months later I was still exhausted. What had really happened and what hadn't? What was right and what was wrong? I wasn't sure anymore. I just didn't want to think about it anymore. The past, the future, the fate of the world. I wanted nothing to do with any of it. You're not looking so good. Shouldn't you call one of your friends or go rest somewhere? Okabe? Hey Kurisu, can I ask you something? Do you know what I was about to do after I called you just now? You're going to meet with Dr. Leskinen and Maho, right? You're supposed to talk about me. Evidently my memories matched hers in that regard. I see. Did I tell Maho about you in advance? I'm fine, really. Sorry to worry you. Don't push yourself too hard. I don't want to be the last person you ever talk to. I chuckled bitterly and ended the conversation. I called Daru too, just in case, and evidently I really was on my way to see the professor and Maho. He also told me that almost all the events of the last few days matched my memory of them, which meant that even if the world line had changed, nothing had changed nearby, where I could have seen it. There was no problem, or at least there shouldn't have been a problem. It was possible that the moment of dizziness was just the result of mental illness. Experiencing those same sensations brought up my past trauma and caused my memories to get confused. Maybe that was it. The phone wave didn't exist. So there was no way the past could have changed. That's right. That was all. I kept telling myself this as I went to see the professor. I met with the professor and Maho in a hotel room. So then, Vintalo, you say that your communication with Amadeus is going well so far? Yes, the conversations are always smooth and coherent. While I'm at it, what about the distance between you and Kurisu? Distance? What do you mean? You find yourself getting closer to her as you talk more. Well, a bit more than when we first started talking. I bet? You sure you don't mean a lot? I'm talking to her too, so I can tell. At first, she was so mad when she said you ignored Ada for calls. But now you're quite friendly with each other. That means you've gotten that much closer, right? I see. Wonderful. Leskinen seemed overjoyed by Maho's words. Got great hopes for this. It's possible she'll view you as a friend or perhaps a love interest. A love interest? You don't need to shout, do you? But she's an AI, right? It's precisely because she's an AI that I'm interested. What did he mean? She has emotions, right? Yes, but they're suddenly running on top of a program. But isn't that the same as the human brain? He was right. The brain ran on electrical signals, so you could say it had the same structure. The question of whether machines have emotions was settled quite a long time ago. They do. And anyway, Amadeus was designed to mimic the human brain. If the structure is the same and so is the process, shouldn't that lead to identical results? Which means it's quite possible she could fall in love. In fact, hope she does. Amadeus, falling in love. Oops, is this an upsetting topic for Maho? Don't you start acting like Kurisu too, Professor. It was a joke. A joke. Maho's scary when she gets mad, so be careful. Yes, I'm well aware.
You know I can hear you, right?
Oh, I forgot that I need to call Judy, Linkalo. I'll be right back. The professor quickly left the room. He ran away, didn't he?
Christ, curse you first, now the professor. Why do they have to make everything about love?
You got that right. Of course, that was always the type of girl she was.
Alright, Okabe, I had a question. You know any words that curse you really liked?
Words?
Or numbers or something. Anything that could be a key?
What? Are you trying to break a password, she said?
That's exactly right. I'm impressed.
I was right. Is that her work computer or something?
No, her personal laptop. It was at her home.
Why do you have something like that?
Her mom gave it to me so I'd have something to remember her by. I'm trying to figure out what's on it, so I'm looking for a way to crack the password. I thought you might know something.
If it's got a password, that means she didn't want anyone seeing it, right?
That's true, but if I want to make her the Amadeus Cursu close to the real one, it would be better to have that data, right? Of course, I'll do my best not to do anything that violates her privacy.
I knew what she was trying to say. She might have had some kind of diary on her computer, which described what she'd been doing during her time here. But sorry, I can't think of anything.
Nothing?
Yeah, and even if I did know, I don't think I'd tell you.
Because there's something you don't want anyone finding out?
Computers hold a person's most private secrets these days. Daru talked about that all the time. He was always wondering if there was a way to automatically wipe a computer's hard drive if you died in an accident. Of course, what Daru didn't want anyone to see was probably very different than what was on Kurisu's computer. Beyond that, it was the same idea.
I see.
She seemed really interested in the contents of the hard drive, but she didn't say anything else. Anyway, I'll be going. I was a little worried about Mayuri too. We have a Rhine!
Hey, Green, what's the best color for a school swimsuit?
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, I'm just playing this H game and it just popped up as a choice. I was wondering what color you'd pick.
What?
Honestly, I would have rather asked Maishi or Rikishi or FaceTime.
They'd call the cops on your ass.
Yeah. I had no choice but to ask you. What color? Don't get embarrassed, just tell me.
Ask Suzuha.
Not a chance. She slit my throat.
I got up and went to leave. And then I saw a small ornament that was decorating the door. Come to think of it, it's almost Christmas. I remembered how excited Mayuri was. Are you staying here for Christmas, Yajo?
Yeah, I've still got stuff to do here.
Are you spending it with anyone?
What?
No, I mean, outside of Japan, don't people usually have Christmas parties with their friends?
Sorry, but I don't have any plans like that. And Americans and Europeans don't have Christmas parties.
They don't?
Christmas is a holy day to them, right? So they normally spend it with their families. They do have big New Year's parties, though.
I thought I'd heard something about that on TV or somewhere.
Well, I don't have any family here, so I'll be alone regardless. But that doesn't mean I'm lonely. Don't get the wrong idea, okay?
Or so she said, but being all alone on Christmas in a bustling town was probably pretty lonely. Of course, she'd probably get mad if I told her that, so I didn't. When I finished talking to the professor, I went to the lab. I'd confirmed on the phone that Mayuri was just fine, but I wanted to see her for myself. I could see from the outside that the lights in the lab were on. I ran up the stairs to get away from the cold and opened the door. Mayuri, you here? I felt a small impact on my chest when I opened the door.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I should have been looking where I was going. I'm sorry.
Evidently, he was just about to leave. Rikuko looked up at me, apologetic. For some reason, he was blushing a little. Only Daru and Rikuko were in the room. There was no sign of Mayuri or Suzuha.
I'm glad if I'd gone home a little sooner, I would have missed you.
Were you waiting for something?
Yes, but it's nothing important. I just brought you some snacks.
You brought us some steamed manji buns, man.
Daru had already eaten about half the box.
Someone gave them to us so you can share them with everyone.
I see. Thank you.
Hey, Rikashi, you good on time?
Oh,
Yukiko looked up at the clock and started to fidget.
we're having guests visit at home tonight.
Guests? Of yours?
No, guests my father's. For some reason I was asked to be there as well. Normally he brings people over who have the same hobbies as he does and talks with them for a long time. It's all too complicated for me to understand, so usually I just bring them tea. I'm not sure why he wants me there.
Does he talk about religion and stuff? Yukiko's family ran the Yanabayashi Shrine, one of the oldest in Akihabara.
Definitely not. Last time he was talking about Ariake and something about the area of Harumi.
Harumi. Ariake. Weren't those places?
That's Rikashi's daddy for you. Spooky.
You two know what he was talking about?
Yeah, I think so. We can talk about it another time. If you got company, you should head home.
Oh, then I'll be going. I'll see you soon.
He bowed deeply and disappeared out the door. I watched him go, then sat down on the sofa. Where's Mayuri?
Akrin probably? I haven't seen her today.
Then I guess I'll have to wait a little. Or should I go get her?
Oh, Akrin, that call earlier. What was that about?
He was probably talking about the phone call I'd placed to him before I went to see the professor. That was... Don't worry about it. I was probably just mistaken.
You sure? Okay then, I guess.
I remembered the strange sensation I'd experienced. I'd wondered if it was a world line jump, but several hours had passed and nothing had changed. Actually, I wasn't even sure if I'd really experienced it anymore. Memories were like that. Especially for me. Still,
Oh, still, Harumi, huh? Rikashi's daddy is a real veteran warrior.
What's this about warriors?
Suzuha got back before Mayuri did.
Brother Nuka's father is a warrior?
How come he gets to be brother when I'm stuck being Uncle Ocarine?
That's right, a warrior among warriors, a man with a history of many battles, you would say.
I see. I thought his family were all holy men. Oh, I see. They say some holy men can also be warriors.
She'd convinced herself.
Brother Nuka really was amazing. I can accept that.
Amazing? What was amazing? I said to just pretend I never heard that. It still felt awkward looking at Suzuha. I'd avoid coming to the lab mostly to avoid seeing her.
Uncle Ocarine, don't make that face.
Evidently she could read my thoughts just from the look on my face. She seemed upset.
I can tell you're avoiding me.
No, it's not your fault though.
Wait, Suzuha, where have you been for so long? Ah, were you on a date with some boy? Never! Your father won't let you go make some random guy your boyfriend.
No, it's nothing like that.
Really?
I thought it was a joke, but evidently he was serious about it. His tone was far less joking than usual. It must be hard being a dad.
It's true.
Then look me in the eye and tell me.
Come on, do you of all people get to say that, Dad?
What does that mean?
You keep playing these weird games when you need to be spending more time with Mom.
That's because two-dimensional girls and three-dimensional ones are different.
Didn't you say it didn't matter if the girl was 2D or 3D?
Oh, Green, did you have to say that right now? How can you betray me like that?
I'd never been on Daru's side when it came to his hobbies, though.
Anyway, if it wasn't a boy, then tell your dad what you were doing today.
What I was doing?
If it wasn't something bad, there should be no problem.
Suzuha glanced at me, then sighed in resignation.
I was looking for someone.
Someone? So it was a boy after all?
I told you, it's not like that. A little girl. No, she'd be older than me now, I guess.
That was a strange way to put it. I glanced over at Daru, who looked back at me.
Actually, there was another girl in the time machine when I came here.
What?
Wait, Suzuha, this is the first I've heard about this.
I never told you.
She was looking down at her feet, and I could see she regretted bringing it up. Who is she? Where is she now?
I don't know what she's doing now.
You don't know?
We got separated, you see, in 1998 here in Akihabara.
1998. That would have been 12 years ago. So it wasn't just Suzuha who came from the future. It took some time for the meaning of that to sink in.
But what happened?
You know, we went back to 1975 to find the IBN 5100, right, Uncle?
I nodded silently.
We somehow managed to get the IBN 5100, and then we went to 1998. Our mission was to avoid the year 2000 problem.
Year 2000 problem? That was one of the big events at the end of the last century, along with Nostradamus' prophecy. But in the end, after all the fuss made by the media and pundits, nothing really happened. Was that because John Teeter had come from the future to fix it? If that was the case, then wow.
I ran into some trouble in 1998 that got separated from her.
And you used the time machine before you could find her?
Didn't have a choice. She ran out of the time machine on her own, and
She must have remembered something because she swallowed her words with a bitter expression.
of course I looked for her. I did small jumps, as many as my fuel would allow, and looked everywhere for her, but
In the end, you never managed to find her.
I guess I understand, but why'd you keep something so important from us?
it was my fault that I lost her. I wanted to take responsibility for bringing her back myself.
You know me better than that.
Those words were soft.
I'm your dad. When you're in trouble, you can count on me.
Dad,
You want to find her, right? So we'll help. Right, Ocarine?
What? Me too?
Of course, we're not asking you to change the future. You can do this, right?
Well, to be honest, after refusing all her requests to save the world, I was feeling a little guilty. I'd like to help her if I could, but I wanted to know what she'd do after she found her.
So, what's her name and age? Is she cute? Daddy will be mad if she's really a man.
she's a girl.
Okay, then give me your name and measurements, too.
I don't know her measurements. When I last saw her, she was 10.
Hello, huh?
And she should be 22 now.
Name, please.
Her name is Kaguri. Kaguri Shina.
Sheena? The name was an unusual one. A girl who was part of Daru's group in the future who had the name Sheena.
Suzuha, was that girl?
That's right. Her mother's name is Mayuri Shina. Kaguri is Big Sis Mayu's daughter.
Mayuri's daughter. Of course, it was possible that Mayuri would choose to have a child in the future. But the fact that I never even thought about it made the shock that much worse. If she had a daughter, she must have had a partner. And that partner couldn't be me. Because I died in 2025. Wait a second. If she was 10 in 2036, then she would have been born in 2026. I'd have to learn more, but if I died in 2025, wasn't it just possible, maybe barely, that it could be me? That just couldn't be. Just like Suzuha had appeared before Daru, she was going to appear before me. Who was the dad? I couldn't ask.
Huh? Wait a second, if her name was Sheena, that means Maishi didn't change her name, which means...
Kaguri's a war orphan. She had no relatives until Big Sis Mayu took her in.
That sounds like something she would do.
I realized I was relieved in more ways than one, and I hated myself a little bit for it. Even if she did marry someone else in the future, as long as that made her happy, it was for the best.
Big Sis Mayu told me to take care of Kaguri. So this never should have happened. He was always clinging to Big Sis Mayu, and she doesn't know any way in this time, so I'm sure she's lonely.
How did you get separated? So there was some kind of trouble. If she'd come to a new era in the time machine at 10 years old, Suzuha would have been the only person she could rely on. There was no way she'd leave Suzuha and run off on her own.
I don't know either, but she got really unstable after we jumped to the past.
That made sense, come to think of it. A young girl just 10 years old was suddenly taken to a world where she knew no one. Of course she'd be scared.
You have any pictures of her?
Oh, yeah.
She showed me a tattered picture with 2 girls in it. One was an adult woman. I couldn't see her face, but maybe it was Mayuri 20 years from now. Hiding behind her was another girl. Was that Kaguri Shina? Now she's 22, huh? Hard to imagine. That is, if she was still alive. Even if Japan was a safe, peaceful country, it would be hard for a young girl to get by on her own. If she was lucky, someone might take her in and give her to an orphanage. But if she wasn't, Suzuha was probably well aware of that possibility, so I didn't bring it up.
Hey, Ocarine, help us out, okay?
She's Mayuri's adopted daughter, right? I'd like to help. But are you okay with that, Suzuha? With me helping? I felt sure that Suzuha was disgusted with me. I had a chance to save the world and I had given up. But you want help from a person like that?
If you're okay with it, Uncle, more people the better.
I see. Then I'll help. Of course, I didn't think this would make up for that.
Thank you. What's this about Mayushi's daughter?
Everyone turned around at the sudden voice.
Do-do-do! Ocarine, you really did wait for me.
Mayuri.
What is it?
The moment I saw her, I finally relaxed. I'm so glad. Mayuri. I took her small hand in mine and felt the warmth. She was alive.
Ocarine?
Oh, sorry.
No, it didn't bother me, so it's okay. Ixis Mayu, how long were you here for? I just got here.
I was careless. I was so focused on what Suzuha was saying that I didn't see Mayuri come into the room.
Hey, I heard you talking about Mayushi's daughter. What were you talking about?
Well, that is...
Crap. Mayuri knew that Suzuha was from the future, but telling her about her future daughter would be going too far. I needed to change the subject. We were saying that you look so young you could be my daughter.
Huh? Alright, right. I mean, she's a cute young girl.
Yeah, people tell me that I've got a young face a lot. I want to look grown up like Yuki, though.
Well, you eat enough for 2 grown-ups. That wasn't a compliment, Mayuri. That was enough to distract her, evidently.
Oh, speaking of food, is there anything you want for Christmas?
Christmas? You mean the party?
Yep.
Anything's fine. As long as it's food, though.
A Christmas party, huh? Have you never been to one, Suzu? Where I come from, we didn't really have time for parties. I think there was one time when Dad got us a really good chicken from somewhere. Ixis Mayu said she'd cook it, but Dad stopped her.
I was looking at Mayuri as if she was remembering the past. Or future, as the case may be.
It really wasn't much more than we usually got, but it did make me happy.
In the future, when World War III was going on, there probably wasn't much time for celebration. But even then, Mayuri was still Mayuri, trying her best to make everyone happy.
Is there anything you want, Daru?
If I've got cute girls dressed up in Santa cosplay, that's all I need.
How much food do we need, do you think? The plan was to make it all with Yuki. Oh, I know! Maybe I'll have Ruka and Ferris help too.
Mayuri's head was full of thoughts about the Christmas party, it seemed.
Is there anybody you want to bring to the party, Ocarine?
Me? I don't really... I almost said no, but then I remembered someone. Maho Hiajo. He said Christmas is something you always spend with your family, but...
Ocarine?
No, not really. How was she going to spend her Christmas? It was after I walked Mayuri home. The second I was alone, I started thinking about this afternoon. If that really was a world line change, then what was the cause? The most likely possibility was that someone had succeeded in developing something like the phone wave. We were able to make one. There was no reason someone else couldn't. Another possibility was that... No, there was no use in thinking about it. I was just mistaken. And even if the world line did change, we weren't the cause. We didn't have anything to do with it anymore. Whenever I was alone, I always ended up thinking about things that wouldn't do me any good. I took the phone out of my pocket and tapped the icon.
Hello.
Kirsu's expression was as self-satisfied as ever.
Why are you calling at this hour?
Nothing. Just felt like talking. Did I bother you?
Not really. Talking to you is good for me, you know.
She was an AI, after all. She wouldn't be bothered, no matter the hour.
You met with Maho, right?
Yeah.
What'd you talk about?
What? I just gave her my report about our conversations.
Is that all? You didn't invite her anywhere?
You're still going on about that. You'd better not tell that to Hyajo, she'll get mad at you.
But this is her big chance. I don't want her to waste it.
Karisu seemed insistent on getting me and Maho together. Sheesh. Doesn't she have other things to think about? Things to think about. Would you have anything to say about that other matter? Hey, question for you. What's the best way to find a missing person?
That sure came out of nowhere.
Some friends and I are trying to find someone. But we really don't know what to do, you see.
Tell me the details.
She leaned forward, suddenly interested. She really was a curious girl. Well,
You can't say anything?
I'm not the only one involved.
I can't really help you like that, though.
You're right. If you could just give me your general thoughts.
Well, the best option is to go to the police.
That was the obvious and correct answer.
Or a private investigator, possibly. Or look at the old newspaper articles. But I guess you're already doing that.
I don't know about that.
You don't know. You're trying to find someone and you haven't even done that.
I just heard about this today. I'll find out later. The Kagari was from the future. And Suzuha didn't have any personal documents in this era either. Which meant that it was unlikely she'd gone to anybody in the government. Some people in America use dowsing and clairvoyance to find people, right?
Don't tell me you believe in that stuff. It has no scientific basis whatsoever.
No, it was just something I thought of.
Good. If you say yes, I was never going to speak to you again.
It really was just like Kurisu. Thanks, that's a big help.
I'll be praying you find her.
Oh, and...
What?
Oh, no, it's nothing.
What? Now you got me wondering.
It's nothing, really. Anyway, I'll talk to you tomorrow or something. Why was I about to say that? I was just about to tell her about Mayuri's Christmas party to see if she wanted to go. Kurisu was just an AI. She only existed inside of a computer. Guess I was just starting to see her as real.
Well, Dad, any luck?
Nope, sorry, nothing.
I see.
Search for Mayuri's future daughter, Kagari Shina, was taking longer than expected. Let me ask you something. Did you go to the police?
Yeah, I did. There's no official missing persons report.
I was right. In order to submit a missing persons report, you need to have ID to prove who you were. That's why Suzuha hadn't done it. And also, I later learned that the only people who could submit a search request were people like family and significant others who were close to the missing person.
Yesterday I did some light hacking of the police database, but I didn't find anything.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did you look too then?
I didn't look at any internal data like you did, Daru, but yeah. There was a database of missing persons on the police homepage. But it didn't go back very far and it didn't have a lot of information. All of it had was age, sex, clothes, and sometimes possessions they were carrying. Since we knew nothing about Kagari Shina, we had basically nothing to go on.
You know, this world may seem peaceful, but there sure are a lot of people who go missing.
I thought the same thing. Each year, over 100 unidentified bodies were found in Tokyo alone. If you expanded that to cover all of Japan, that went back 12 years, you'd have a pretty big number. And then the number of missing persons was far greater. Each year, almost 100,000 people went missing. And 1 out of every 5 was in their teens. Of course, most of them just ran away from home, and 70% were found within a week after a report was filed. But if 70% of them were found in the first week, that means that 30% of them weren't. In fact, 5% of them were never found at all, and no one ever knew if they were alive or dead. Perhaps Kagari Shina was caught up in an accident or killed. Or perhaps... I sat up and got off the sofa.
Okay, and where are you going?
I thought I'd do a little more research. School would be on break soon anyway, and it wasn't like I had anything to do. And while I hadn't been very interested at first, at some point I'd become really interested in the whereabouts of Kaguri Shina. And more than anything...
Thank you, Uncle Ocarine.
No, it's nothing really.
No, thank you anyway.
As long as I was looking for Kaguri, Suzuha probably wasn't going to bother me about the future. Having her bring up the same thing every time we met was hard for me. If I could get her focused on something else, that would make things easier. Or so I'd thought. But finding clues wasn't easy. Just in case, I'd gone to the National Diet Library and looked at articles on missing persons and crimes in 1998, the year she'd gotten separated from Suzuha, but I had no luck. Suzuha said she had been looking for Kaguri every few years on her way to our time, so I knew it wouldn't be easy. But I couldn't help but feel a little tired and disappointed.
What's wrong?
Oh.
What?
Nothing. I'd called Kurisu without even realizing it somehow.
Hey, you seem even more tired than yesterday. You okay?
Is that how I look?
Your tones drop lower than usual. I see your conjunctiva are slightly swollen with blood too. You looking into that case you told me about yesterday?
Yeah. I told Kurisu what I had heard from Suzuha and Daru and what I'd found at the National Diet Library.
Dummy, if that's what you were trying to do, you could have just asked me.
What do you mean?
I can access the network and research anything that's on the internet, you know?
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten. She was an AI that existed inside a computer. So something like that would be easy for her.
Want me to give it a try?
Can you do it right now?
It won't take much time at all.
Alright, give it a go.
Sure, just give me a second.
Kurisu fell silent on the screen and didn't move for a moment. Maybe 30 seconds later. You're done already?
I searched the network and nobody named Kaguri Shina has been involved in any accidents or crimes since 1998. I found 3 people with identical names, but given their ages, they're almost certainly not the girl you're looking for. If you want, I can send you an email with their data later.
No, that's fine. When I stopped to think about it, even Suzuha wouldn't have been able to do a search for her name on the internet. And what Kurisu was saying was almost certainly right. The Kurisu Makise I had known was always right.
I think that's all I can do then. Now it's up to you to do only what you can do.
What can I do?
Gather information around the place where she disappeared. It's the ultimate in analog methods, though.
I guess you're right. Suzuha had been doing that forever, so I couldn't imagine I'd find anything new. But if that was my only option, then that's what I had to do.
Meow! Ocarine!
I spun around when I heard a voice behind me. And I think that this is a pretty good place to cut it because I'm not emotionally prepared for Ferris at the moment. Yeah, this is interesting in that it's interesting how we're sort of treading some of the same ground, but also in a very different way. I do wonder how the Christmas party is going to go, and whether it's going to be significantly different than the one in, I think it was X-Day Protocol? I forget exactly what. But yeah, for now, thank you all so much for following my playthrough of Steins Gate Zero, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now!